Greetings, folks. Greetings. It's David back again with another video for the Journals channel. Hope you're all doing well if you click on this video. And sorry about this odd posture I'm having to sit in. Low video quality. I threw my back out this past week at work and I'm still in kind of a bad way with it. But yeah, there's something else I'm bummed out about though. I was going through my stuff last night here on StreamYards, and you know how StreamYards gives you 50 hours of storage? Well, I was reaching my limit, so I decided to go ahead and delete a bunch of stuff, and I'm afraid that I accidentally deleted my 20 or 30 minute long review that I had made of Monster Summer. I was going to put that up on the channel pretty soon, but now it's gone, and I guess I'm just going to have to redo it. But I praised the movie, so it's going to get done, and I'll have that on the channel hopefully within the next couple of weeks. It takes that long for me to get stuff done, being over the road and having a good place to record and just collect my thoughts and enjoy some peace while I appreciate film. It gets difficult sometimes, but there's something else I wanted to talk about, and is the point of this video, as you can see from the title. I don't know if anybody else makes videos and puts them on the internet about movies that they haven't seen except me, but who gives a care? I have some thoughts, and they're so annoying. They've eaten away at me so much that I have to share them. I have to vent, and even if nobody ever watches this video, I'm getting this on the record. I didn't watch Joker or Joker Folie Deux because when I saw that trailer for Joker, I thought, this was back in 2017, 2018, I thought, this is not a good idea. This is the Joker? Are you going to tell a movie about how he came to be how he was? Okay, that's one thing, but you can see from the trailer that they're glorifying this like descent or ascent, however you want people want to interpret it. I know enough from all the ranters that I listen to, other like reviewers who actually have audiences who I've been listening to for years, people who love the movie, people who hate the movie, things that I've read. I basically know the contents of the film. So even though I didn't want to support it with my money and my eyeballs fully, I believe I know what's happened in these movies, even the new one, maybe especially the new one because it's the recent release that people either love it or a few people love it, but most people seem to hate it. That's why it lost $200 million for these studios. I didn't want to support that movie, Joker, because I could tell by the imagery they have in there, the driving in the taxi cab, whether he's just in La La Land smiling, Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, or how he's being broken out of jail, or however the people like were in anarchy, and he was like a hero to them. I thought this is not a good idea, folks, to make a movie like that. It might be good to cinema, but I don't know that it's good art, because good art has to improve the culture around you, or the mood of the people. It has to enrich people's lives, if only a little bit, in their minds to make them more full. And if you tell a story that dark and gritty, I just don't know that it can be done. Keep in mind, I was under the impression that this was in fact the Joker, as in Batman and the Joker, DC Comics, Detective Comics. You know, the Joker, the Joker, like a new variation of Batman 1989, Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, all these people. Heath Ledger's Joker, maybe people's favorite. Uh, George Clooney was the Batman once. Just all these different people. But I was wrong, and this new movie has proven me that I was wrong about that aspect of it. And now I'm going to tell you about somebody who really he got on my nerves because he said something I wanted to disagree with, but I'm like, I can't because I know he's right. Ethan Van Sciver. I don't know if you know who he is. EVS. Ethan Van Sciver. I've kind of become addicted to watching his channel over the last month. He's a veteran of the comic books industry. He's the creator of Cyberfrog and all these things. And I've been watching his streams, even the archive streams, just because I get a kick out of some of this stuff. And I'm getting more into comic books a little bit because of him and some other people. But he's the main person I credit with that, getting me back into fun storytelling. Anyways, he said something with his chat up in arms against him, like, "Oh, Ethan, stop being a contrarian. You know the movie's garbage, Joker 2. Stop trying to be like some contrarian, some stuck up elitist. Oh, it's actually a good movie, and you little people don't understand the message." And he said he does this condescending thing. He really does, where he goes, "Folks, you just got to understand, not all films are appreciated in their time. One day, people will see how great this movie is." But the thing he said that I alluded to a moment ago, that I wanted to disagree with because I just hate the idea of these movies that would do what I thought they were doing with that first movie, but perhaps I was wrong. Ethan Van Sciver said this movie is actually just a continuation of that first movie directly. It's not even like a sequel, even though it is a separate movie because that's the way they did it. He said you have to view it as that. And when he said that, well, this is just a continuation of that. I mean, directly, it should be like one of the same movie, like one really long movie, Joker and Joker Folie Deux. It should be one movie. I thought to myself, you know what? I could actually get behind that, considering the events that take place in Joker Folie Deux and how Arthur Fleck, uh, well, we'll just say how the character concludes. I don't want to give spoilers out in case anybody might actually want to see these movies. But what happens to him and how he chooses to be Arthur rather than Joker, and how Lady Gaga's character, who's supposed to be Harley Quinn, puts him into this situation where thinks he has love for the first time in his life, and like real love. And when she gives him the ultimatum basically in the course of the movie, I want you to be the real you. I want you to be Joker. She wants the bad boy, the anarchist, the villain. Basically, this woman in his life wants him to be the villain, and yet he's had all these struggles with it, with regret over what he's done apparently, and he's medicated in prison. They apparently try and show the movie makers apparently try and show this realistic effect of what would happen with somebody in real life if they were some supervillain who actually got arrested and put into the legal system. He's been medicated. Apparently, there's some illusion that maybe the guards baton raped him. I don't know about all that because I haven't seen the movie, but I wouldn't put it past the movie makers to put that kind of thing in there, just to really pour it on about how abused this man is before he was put into the system, before he became a murderer, and now as an inmate, abused and mistreated. Since it's not the guards' job to punish inmates in any prison, at least in this country, in this culture, the system is their punishment, their being in prison. But that's all a side tangent. You see where I'm going with this. How, and Ethan explained it this way, Ethan Van Sciver. It's actually a story about women, folks. That's how they are. They're evil. They want the bad boy. And so this movie is artistically telling you about women in the process. Be that as it may, trying to make a little bit of a joke. I think he was making a little bit of a joke, but maybe not. You never know. How that when Arthur, who is so apparently conflicted, chooses to just be himself and turn away as much as he can, I guess, from the monster he became, she leaves him, like abandons him. Again, I haven't seen the movie. I'm just going off what other people have said because I do not want to give my money to this particular art film. How the demise of the character in the end is meant to be sad, and it's meant to be the kind of movie that you don't want to watch again because you're never going to forget this anyways. It's going to be burning your mind apparently, and I can see that. I wouldn't want to. There's some movies that I'm glad I watched it, but it's not like a Disney movie for my kids. Maybe some kid can put it in the background and you can listen to it every day in the background, have something going like, it's entertaining, blah blah blah. Some movies you only need to see once, I guess. But there's something else. Ethan mentioned the character who was like a dwarf or little person, midget, clown, who Arthur didn't kill in that first movie when he could have. Ethan really struck a nerve with me with how he made it a point to bring out this part of the movie, and how all you folks who hate the movie, you got to understand. Think about this scene in the movie where Joker, Joaquin Phoenix, whatever, Arthur is encouraging his buddy, go for it, man, go do it. Like testifying against him in his murder trial, this former friend, former coworker. And I think I actually watched the clip of that online. It's all gritty looking how Arthur killed the friend who had given him the gun, and he lost his job. Arthur did, when the gun accidentally fell out or something. Again, I haven't even seen the movie. This stuff is just in my brain from the things I've heard about this movie that I'm like, man, I don't want to watch this movie. And at the same time, it's become such a cultural phenomenon that here I am talking about a movie I haven't even seen, because it's like, man, why did y'all watch this? Why did y'all watch this? And why am I making this video? He killed his former friend because he blamed him, and he kind of goes over to the other guy and he just give him a kiss on the forehead, like hugs him, like embraces him, like sends him out of his apartment, like, but he doesn't hurt him. And apparently Ethan says in this new movie that that guy's on the stand saying that you were the nicest person I ever met. You never made fun of me. You were the only person who's ever really kind to me. And then you like destroyed my world when you did that. You changed everything in my life, like traumatized him apparently, so much so that he's thinking about killing himself some days. And that Arthur apparently is sitting in the courtroom listening to him say that to him, and that's part of what further draws him out of the murderous monster that he became. And I said all this stuff to say this. I still disagree with Ethan that it's a really good movie, but Ethan Van Sciver, but I can actually now get behind that premise as far as an artsy movie where you tell a story like that. Again, if you actually did it the way Ethan said it should be viewed, this is just one long movie, Joker and Joker Folie. It shouldn't really be two movies. It should just be one really long movie. Except they didn't do it that way. And this is the problem, and this is what I can't get on board with, and this is what I disagree with Van Sciver and everybody else who wants to defend the movie about. And you saw from the thumbnail of this video where I'm going with this. This is DC, is it not? This is, you know what, I'll Google it. Warner Brothers Pictures. This is DC comic stuff. That's the way this was coming out. It's the Joker, except they didn't call it that. They called it Joker, and maybe looking back, that should have been people's first clue that this isn't the maniacal, psychopath, murderous clown who somehow became a criminal crime lord with people willing to follow his psychotic self. This is something different. It's not the Joker, it's just Joker. Something that's really rubbed in people's faces apparently at the end of the movie, where apparently, again, I'm just going off what I'm told and what I've read in these little articles and reviews and stuff. Apparently, after what happens to Joker, the person who had claimed him like, oh, I'm your biggest fan and whatever. There's like somebody in his jail cell. This is how the movie ends, apparently, or very close to the ending. When the guy apparently starts cutting up his own face or whatever, people think they see some allusion to Heath Ledger's Joker, because in that movie, The Dark Knight, he's always going around. You know how I got these scars? You know what I'm talking about. That's the real Joker. So Heath Ledger's Joker is the real Joker, and this uh, Joker Arthur was just another sad, melancholy, ruined person who became a criminal and a murderer. That was just one little part of the real Joker's history. And you're thinking, I'm sure people who love the first film are just thinking, like, what a kick in the teeth, because apparently people did become, and if I had sat through the movie, I might have did the same thing, become attached and just feel so sorry for this person you see on the screen, that maybe I would very much think and feel the same way about the film as a lot of other people do, except that I didn't watch the movie because I'm like, there's something just not right here. And now I think my suspicions have been validated, because $200 million. There's 200 million reasons why uh, people are saying this isn't what I expected. This isn't where I thought this was going. And again, going back to the thumbnail of this video, Alien 3. This movie is Alien 3, Folie, because, like I started to say a moment ago, this is Warner Brothers. This is DC. Joker. Like the Waynes, Bruce Wayne, or his dad. I think there's some. I think the name Harvey Dent is spoken in uh, the second movie. Somebody said it's like, that is the universe, folks. That is the universe that this is in. And so people expected this to be the Joker, not just some Joker. The joke's on you, apparently. The joke's on all these people who love the first film so much, I guess. Because, I mean, the stuff just aggravated me and bothered me so much that I wanted to make this video about it, because it's become that big a deal. Because there's a lot of money. The first film made $1 billion. It became a cultural phenomenon with people really appreciating the film. And so here I am now saying, you now have your Alien 3. You now have your like I have my Alien 3, and I have my X-Men 3, X-Men United. What a bunch of junk. Even though I can like, and I do like, Alien 3 just as a movie, I hate it as Alien 3, because I believe the same thing that happened with those franchises, Aliens and X-Men, when that first trilogy of movies began to be made in the year 2000, has happened here. Somebody did their own thing instead of just following the logical script and giving the movie going audience what the movie going audience expected to get. It's not, maybe I should say it this way, it's not the product that people were going for. I thought from the trailer of Folie that this movie was going to be, they said it was a musical. That was the first, like, what? What? And Lady Gaga is going to be Harley Quinn. This is going to be some further descent into madness as he becomes more powerful, and he has now there are two of them, kind of a thing, two psychos attached at the hip as they go around building their forces of criminals and taking over the city and becoming that kind of thing. That's what I had thought was going to happen, but apparently no. This is not the product. It's more art, and that's the point Van Sciver made. This is about art, folks. And he talks just like that. This is about art. And I can get behind that, presuming that something artsy fartsy was what people were going in for. Alien 3 is not a logical continuation of Aliens. And it's why people hated it so much. You remember how people loved about these surviving characters, Ripley, Newt, um, Corporal Hicks, and Bishop, how they went into hypersleep, and so much closure was achieved in Ripley's story, her arc or whatever, in Aliens, Sigourney Weaver. It's like a completely different movie from Aliens, considering all that happened from the beginning of, Alien, from the beginning of what happened in Aliens, when she finds out that her daughter has grown up while she's been adrift in space, has grown up, has lived her life, and died, passed away, while Ripley is out there floating around in hypersleep. And all the emotional roller coaster of that, and to be tormented by the aliens, and the thought that these creatures that essentially are what wrecked her life could also hurt other people. That's what aliens is about. We're not going to study, and we're not bringing anything back, right? We're going in to wipe them out. Yeah, we're going in to wipe them out, Ripley. All right, I'm in. And so she goes, and they do all this stuff, and so many people die when they encounter a multitude of aliens. And then you get Aliens 3. And most people describe leaving the theater. My mom, I talked about this with her last night. She said she waited for 2 hours, over 2 hours, to watch the movie way back when. And then people think they left a funeral leaving that movie. It's about the same way I felt as when I left from watching The Force Awakens Episode 7 at the movie theater. So this is the final point I'm just trying to get to here. I kind of sympathize with people about this movie, even though it's a movie I just didn't want to, at least not in the theater, support something that was so obviously, it's like it's beyond edgelord stuff. You don't want to do things that glorify negative themes, negative elements. I could go much deeper than that with what I'm getting at, but hopefully you get the point. And yet here I am making a video about these two movies, Joker, Joker 2, because of what they are to people. And that's what you do with film. You talk about what it means to you. And I can see that these two movies meant a lot to a lot of people. But unfortunately, it is Aliens 3 all over again, and X-Men 3 all over again. A complete derailment and destruction of the story that people thought was. And I just want to say, for the director, Mr. Phillips, I'm getting his name right. Is it Philip or Phillips? Todd Phillips. Good on him for achieving to make his artsy fartsy thing. But at the same time, I want to say you don't have any right to do that through the vessel that was constructed by somebody else. When other people come in, different directors, different producers and writers, and just derail things like what happened with Alien 3 and X-Men 3. The story taking more than takes a hit. It does taint things that came before. I don't want to say that, but I think it does in people's minds, and in my mind, it's like, what in the world is this? This doesn't logically make sense. This stream of storytelling, something's gone horribly wrong here, that your brain can't account for it. And while Ethan Van Sciver can say, you have to look at the film this way, you can't, because people went in thinking this was the Joker. This is not the Joker. This is the tragic tale of Arthur Fleck. That's what it is. Very tragic tale of Arthur Fleck. I mean, let me give you an example to really run home the point I'm talking about. If in some cosmic intervention alternate universe scenario, Nintendo were to give me full creative authority, full legal power, full everything, and money to make a Star Fox movie, for instance, do I get to just go in and do whatever in the world I want to with that story, with those characters? No. You gotta stick to what's there and give the people who love Star Fox what they want. I don't get to make my own personal art project with Star Fox. I have to put on the big screen something that already exists in books and video games and cartoons, for all I know. And so that's where I see a knock against Todd Phillips. It's like, this isn't the Joker. It's just Joker. Maybe that's the artistic sleight of hand, the clever little maneuver that has been pulled here, because I just feel for people. It's like, that's not what people expected. That's not what they wanted. That's not what they thought they were paying for, is the crutch of the matter. And so, yeah, there you go. I've said it all. I've said everything that's on my mind about it. It seems it just, you don't have a right to do that, to tell your own story. Sometimes you need to tell the story that's already been told in the best way that you can. And this version of the Joker in no way fits with what people wanted. And yet, if it were titled something else, and it weren't Joker necessarily, and it weren't some allusion to Harvey Dent, and that Bruce Wayne, the Wayne family, weren't alluded to, and all this stuff, if it were just its own movie, I could get behind it probably. Again, I don't know if I could watch it more than once, but it would be honest, an honest presentation. There's something dishonest about what's happened, is what I'm getting at. Just like Aliens 3, it's like, what in the world? X-Men 3, what in the world? Just like I actually do like Aliens 3, the movie, if it were its own artsy little film about a woman who's tormented by the past. It's set in outer space with these creatures, and her family were in hyper sleep because they barely escaped some invasion, blah, blah, blah. And that were the premise of it. And then her facing her demons, even the self-sacrifice stuff at the end, and having to really get control of herself and her destiny amongst this prison planet of felons and inmates. And they were originally going to do monks, I think, on a wood planet, but whatever. I could get behind that, and I actually do like the movie. I hate it as Aliens, though, because it completely derailed the story. But that's enough, folks. I can stop this before I get to a half hour. I'm at 20 minutes, almost 29 minutes. Let me just stop. I think you all know what I'm thinking about this movie, that I haven't even seen, both of them. But this is the stuff that's just been on my mind, because this is what's out there right now. And yeah, I do feel for you if you were disappointed with the film, because I've had a very similar thoughts and feelings about some movies like that myself. So there you go. Till next time, folks. Thank you so much for listening to me rant and rave about movies I haven't seen before. Take care, and we'll see you next time.